If you're anything like me and you're into electronics, but your eyes aren't quite what they used to be, well, it might be time to think about getting a digital microscope for your workbench. In today's video, we're going to be looking at this 4K digital microscope that Tomlov sent me to review and share with you. So let's get it out of the box and over on the bench and take a look at it. I'm not going to go through each piece on the desk here, but this is everything that comes in the microscope kit. This over here, of course, is the microscope unit itself, the display and the microscope body. We have the swing arm that this will all mount to, chargers, cables, mounting brackets for the desk. We also get a silicone work mat and, of course, the owner's manual. And at this point, I'll let you know that this video is not intended to take the place of this owner's manual. So if you've bought one of these or you're thinking about buying one, make sure you read through everything that's in this owner's manual before you use yours. And speaking of buying this, if you are interested in picking one up, I will have an affiliate link in the video description below. And if there's any discount codes or anything like that that I can pass on, I will leave those there as well. So to get started, I'm going to grab this L-shaped black bracket, the one with the countersunk hole in it, and I'm going to match it up to this piece. I'm going to put it on the bottom, and I'm going to line up the countersink hole with the hole in the middle, and then this other hole that's in the bottom of the bracket with this bump that is on the base. Then I'll grab this large countersink screw, and I'll install that in the middle here using the supplied Allen wrench. The next thing that I'm going to do is grab this silver-shaped L bracket. It's got two holes on one edge and one hole on the other, and the supplied thumb wheel, and I'm going to thread that into the side with a single hole. I'm going to thread it in just a few threads just so a little bit is sticking out. Now I'm going to grab this silver piece, and I'm going to orient it so that sort of the cupped side is facing up or towards the top of the bracket. And then I'm going to grab the smallest screw that's supplied with the kit. I'm going to put it through the end of the cup there, and I'm going to attach it to the end of the thumb wheel. This hole that's in the end is actually threaded to accept this screw. One of the supplied tools in the kit does have an Allen head on one side and a Phillips on the other, so you can use that to tighten the screw, or you can use a regular Phillips screwdriver if you happen to have one. Now I will mention on my kit, the threads feel a little bit dirty, so to speak. They might be burred a little bit, so this is going in a little bit harder than I think it should, but I think it's okay. Now I'm going to grab this assembly and I'm going to mate it up with the black bracket so that this is on sort of the inside surface, and these two bottom holes that are in the silver bracket are lining up with the two holes in the bottom of the black bracket. Then I'll grab the two remaining screws from the kit, and I'll install those through the black bracket and thread them into the silver bracket. And again, I can use this supplied tool to tighten everything up. The last thing I need to do for assembling the mounting bracket is to peel off the protective layer on the back of this rubber pad and stick it to the bottom of this piece here. And this is pressure sensitive adhesive, so I'm just going to kind of push that down so it's good and stuck. Of course, when this is clamped down to a desk, it's going to activate that even better. But for now, we'll just get it stuck on there as best as we can. The next thing I've done is to slide my desk away from this shelf so that I can mount this on the back surface. I'm just going to kind of work it in here, slide it over, and then I'll reach back here and tighten up the thumb clamp. So the next thing I'm going to do is grab the swing arm, and I'm going to mount it on top of here. So I've just backed this out, and I'll turn it in just a thread or two so it stays. And then I'm actually going to remove this Velcro covering and extend this a little bit so that it doesn't crash into my shelf. Now, unfortunately, it looks like this is going to crash into my equipment here. So for now, I'm just going to move that back out of the way, and we'll deal with that later. Next, I've grabbed the support arm and I've removed this nut from it. So of course, there's threads on this end of the support arm that engage with threads in this hole. So now I'm going to grab this and thread it in, and it is going to bind a little bit because there's powder coating on the threads on this bracket. But once you get through that, it should tighten up just fine. Now I'm going to grab the nut that we removed from off the top of this, and I'm going to thread it on top of here and tighten everything up. Now the way this is supposed to work is it's supposed to pivot on this joint and this joint. But these may need to be adjusted a little bit, in order to adjust the tension. So I can just grab one of the tools supplied with the kit, and I can tighten or loosen to add or remove tension to these pivot points. The next thing I need to do is walk these set screws out so that there's room to slide the microscope body through here. I'm not going to take them all the way out, just enough to kind of make the clearance ring full. Now I'm going to grab the microscope body itself. I'm going to insert it into the ring, and I'm going to slide that ring all the way up here above this red line, and then we can tighten those set screws. So now I'll just tighten these thumb screws so that they're just snug. We don't want to tighten it up too much, otherwise we'll crack the plastic. The next thing I'm going to do is grab the two cables that come in the kit. One is a USB cable and the other one is an HDMI cable. I'll plug both cables into the back of the microscope monitor, and then I'm going to route them down along the arm by pulling off this cable stay and then putting the cables through it. And then we can click this back in place. So that should keep the cables out of the way and sort of towards the back of the arm so that I can run them off where they need to go. Now in particular, I'm going to grab the charging brick that came with the kit. I'm going to plug that into the USB cable, and then I'm going to plug this in so everything charges. The HDMI cable, I'm going to leave that loose for right now since I don't have a monitor or a computer to run that to. Now at this point, this gag may be overdone, but I'm going to do it anyway. Let's peel off this screen protector. And while we're at it, I'm going to pull off this, I guess you could call it a safety tab from the remote control so that the battery will make contact, and this will now be operational. Now that we've got the microscope all set up and ready to go, we can take a closer look at some of its features. Now, with that being said, there's so many features here, it's likely that I'm going to miss something. So if there is something that you want to see that I didn't cover, let me know in the video description. Or you can also check out the product page linked in the description as well. I'm sure the information is there too. Anyway, let's take a closer look and see how this thing works. Now, unfortunately, the focus here may be a little bit blurry. I can't do much about it. My camera is just not focusing on this monitor screen real well. Now, having said that, you can record movies directly off of the monitor, and we'll look at that in a minute. But in order for me to show you all the features, we're going to have to work through a little bit of fuzziness on the screen. As I mentioned, I've got a circuit board assembly down here that we can look at with the microscope. But of course, in order to look at it, we first need to turn it on. So in order to do that, I'm just going to press the power button. So obviously the LED lights that illuminate the circuit board came on, and these are of course flexible, and I've already kind of positioned them the way that I want to illuminate the board. And the screen has also come on, and we'll look closer at the screen in a minute. What I want to first show you are these buttons along the microscope body. There's a P1 that might be slightly out of frame, and P2. Those are presets for autofocus. So if you're looking at a certain type of board or a certain setup most of the time, you can pre-program your focus and then push those buttons to jump to it. The plus and minus buttons allow you to manually focus the image on the screen. And right now you can see that that's mostly in focus, but if I push and hold this plus sign, you can probably see from the bottom of the screen it goes out of focus. Now, one thing you've also probably noticed is as I grab this and move it around, things get a little shaky. So if you are using the manual focus, you're going to probably need to kind of play around with it, get it where you want, move your hand away, and make sure it's still in focus. Or probably the better thing to do is to use the autofocus. Let me get this out of focus a little bit again, and then push the AF button. And then you can see the microscope will automatically focus the image. And from what I've seen so far, it does a pretty good job of doing that. I think I glossed over this before, but let me give you a quick look at the back of the microscope monitor. Obviously, we have the connections for the HDMI and the USB cord, and of course, we have the micro SD slot. And we also have a thumb wheel that adjusts the brightness of the LEDs. Another way I can change the illumination is to use this slider that's right here on the monitor. You can just drag my finger along here, and you can kind of see the image kind of brightens and dims as I slide along. To control the microscope, you can use the buttons that are here at the bottom of the monitor. These are pretty self-explanatory. Power, left and right to navigate through the menus. OK to select or enter into menu options, and menu to access the menu. Or you can use the supplied remote control. This has all the same functionality as the buttons here, plus it also has shortcuts for snapping a photo or recording a video. So I think for most of the rest of this video, I'm going to use the remote, because when I'm actuating the buttons down here, not only are my fingers in the way, I'm obviously jiggling the image and it can get kind of distracting. So if I use this, I don't have to touch the monitor and screw up the image. So as far as the control buttons go, the first thing I want to show you is that you can use the two arrow keys to zoom in and out of the image that's displayed on the screen, or the arrow keys on the remote control. So if I use the left arrow, you can see it zoomed out just a little bit because it was mostly at its widest zoom. But if I use the right arrow button, you can see I can zoom right in on that chip. And as I zoom in, it seems to maintain focus. And then if I use the right arrow, I can zoom back out to the full image. Next, if I push the menu key on the monitor or the menu button on the remote, you'll be able to see that the menu for the microscope pops up here in the top left. I can then use the arrow keys to navigate through the selections. The first one puts the microscope in playback mode. If I had a photo or a video I wanted to review, this is where I would do it. The next option brings up all of the image settings. Now, if I want to descend down into this menu and change any of these, I can push the OK button on the monitor or on the remote. The option that is highlighted in red is the one that is currently active, and this happens to be auto exposure. If I want to change the selection, I can push the OK button, and then you can see that the option turns red, in this case auto. If I want to change it to lock, I can use the arrow key, and then that turns red. And if I hit OK, that would lock the auto exposure. But in my case, I'm going to leave that on auto, so I'll push OK. Using the right arrow key will bring me down to the next option, which is image brightness. I can change the white balance. I can also change the autofocus. Right now you can see the manual option is set green, so that means that's what's in effect. So if I hit OK and I scroll that to auto, it'll automatically autofocus as the image moves around. We can also change the color effect. Of course, by default it's on color, but we can set it to black and white, or we can set it to negative. Let's see what that looks like. That almost looks like an X-ray. Okay, I'm going to change that back to color. We can turn the WDR on and off. We can change the contrast and the saturation. If I hit the right arrow again, a second page shows up where we can change the sharpness. We can mirror the image, we can flip the image, we can change the refresh rate of the monitor, and then we can also hit return to go back up. The next top level menu option are the settings. And you can see there are a bunch of different settings that you can change. The most popular ones would probably be the photo size. You can toggle that from 13 megapixels to 52. And you can change the video resolution from 4K 30 frames a second to 1080 60 frames a second. And then you can also change the LCD brightness, auto off, so on and so forth. You could pause the video and read through all these options if you want to. Now the last menu option allows us to put some measurement lines on the screen. The first option is the cross cursor. By default that's off, but if we change it to ruler, you can see that a ruler displays on the screen, and that would be handy for measuring things. And then you can also change to a center line if you want to do that instead. In fact, I've got to back out of the menu so you can see it. Now, it's probably real hard to see in the middle of the screen there, but it's there. There's just a small little plus here. The next option lets us put lines on the screen, and you can see that you can have up to 8 different configurations of line here. Now, right now, line 5 is active. I'm going to go to line 1, make that active, and then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click line show and I'm going to turn that on. Once that's on, you can now change all of the configuration for the line that's displayed in register 1. Right now, you can see we've got a horizontal line. If I go in here and change it to vertical, you can see that vertical line changed. It's over here now. I'm going to change that back to horizontal since it seems a little more visible in the camera. The next option allows us to change the position of the line. You can see it's at 160 sort of by default, but if I go in here and scroll down, you can see if I increase the number, the line kind of goes down the screen a bit. Now I can also change the line width. It was at its thinnest on level 1. If I put it on level 8, you can see it gets nice and thick and visible now. I can also change the color. Obviously it's red, but if I want to make it white, I can make it white. or any of the other colors that are selected here. Now, if I want to turn that line off and get it off the screen, I can go back into the line settings, and then I can go to line show and make sure that that is off, and then the line disappears. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the video, we can record still images and movies from the microscope. That way you can play things back and it'll be just as sharp as it would be if you were looking at this with your eyes instead of through my recording camera, which is a little bit fuzzy. So if I want to capture a still image, I can just push the camera icon on my remote control and it will grab an image of whatever is currently displayed. Here's a look at the image that I grabbed from the SD card. You can see that it looks pretty good, at least better than what I was trying to show through my camera and through the monitor. So there's one image, and then if I move this around to another part of the circuit board, let's take a look at this chip. We'll do an autofocus just to get that nice and in focus. And then maybe I'll zoom in a notch or two just so that we can maybe look at these solder joints. I'm going to move this down actually, and we'll zoom in. I'm going to refocus that just so we can get a good look at those solder joints. I'm going to hit the camera button and we'll record that as a still image. Here's a look at the second image I took. We can see pretty good detail in the IC leads, the solder pads, and even the tented vias and the dust on the solder mask. So if I want to record a video instead of a still image, I just push the video button on the remote control, and you can see we do an autofocus routine, and then the microscope starts recording whatever it sees. So now, if I move the circuit board around a little bit, we should be able to record this clip and then play it back here for you. Let's get back to there, and then we'll do an autofocus one more time. That should all be captured in the recording. And here's a look at the recording directly from the SD card. You can see that the images are nice and sharp, just like they were in the still images, but now we're able to see all the movement and everything that I was doing while recording the movie. Now again, I apologize, it's a little bit blurry in my recording camera, but I wanted to show you the status messages that are above and below the microscope image. Up here, you can see we're currently in movie record mode. The 52M means that if we were going to take a still shot, it would be 52 megapixels. And if we are recording a video, it's 4K 30 frames a second. And then the AF means that the autofocus is on. Down here in the lower right, we can see the status of the SD card. Right now, we've got 57.9 gigabytes free of a total of 58.2 gigabytes available. And over here, there are 2 images saved to the SD card. The green icon in the lower left indicates that the USB cord is plugged into a power source and currently charging. Electronic components aren't getting any bigger, and my eyes aren't getting any better as time goes on. So I think this is going to be a great help to all my repair projects. If you want to learn more about this microscope, I will, of course, have links in the video description. And if I can pass along any discounts, I'll do that as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.